Are we at the green camera or the black screen? Where are we at?
We're looking right there.
The red
Red,
thing.
you did.
All right.
Good morning, professional photographers of Idaho and beyond. I am Bob Ryder.
I'm Larry Fry. Good morning.
It's Friday. It's been a really interesting week for me.
It's been a bitch.
I didn't expect that. I did not know you were going to drop the hammer on that.
I've been busy since Monday, so yeah.
I guess, well, and Laquita's here. I need to throw that on the air real quick. She says, good morning, beautiful people. Happy Friday.
Hey, Laquita.
Laquita, I appreciate that. We have 4x'd, 4 times multiplied our sessions right now.
Whoa.
They all of a sudden blasted off, and we are booked all the way through this. We're September now, folks.
Yeah.
First Friday, by the way.
Yeah.
We're September, and we're looking like we're peaking on the audio there. So let me knock that down a little bit. Just
He's
on the
knocking it
master.
down a little bit.
I'm knocking that down. I don't want you to distort.
And that's kind of the way of entrepreneurship, you know, when it rains, it pours, and then it doesn't.
Well, and then we did a trade show this week, which was unreal. We've been doing this trade show for, the last 4 years, although they skipped a year. And it's always been good for us, but...
I should have came by. I wanted to stop by the solid booth and give them harassment.
They were there.
I know.
It was great to see. Mariah was there. Anyway, we've got a lot of really great things going on. Larry and I have been working hard on the fall retreat, and I want to make sure that we're still... That's being weird there, but I shouldn't really look at that. Everything looks good. Let me jump over into the switcher.
It's going again.
Everything's going good. Okay. I don't want to watch that. I just want to watch the comments here.
Okay.
But anyway, it's been just a crazy week, right?
Yeah, been nuts.
But I finally got a little help on the spine stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. So yesterday, you tell me, or was it yesterday? Yesterday.
Yesterday, early morning, I saw my doctor and
actually got quality time with him.
Spent some quality time, talked through some things that needed to be talked through, and we've been waiting to get past the potentially effective period of the injection I took in my spine 2 weeks ago.
Right.
That was ineffective.
Oh, that sucks.
They kind of knew it. I mean, it was like, hey, we're going to do this.
Good luck.
It works for some people.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
Okay, we're going to do it. We have to do that to get to this point, but they've been able to take me from this fast-acting, short-lasting medication to a longer-lasting, slow-release medication, and I'm doing better. Yesterday, I was super stoned because I took it in addition to my regular stuff.
So we discussed this yesterday over chat or something, and I told him he couldn't appear on the air stoned. So that was my fault.
I told my wife yesterday, and she's probably maybe watching from the bedroom. I told Bri yesterday, don't let me email anybody. Like, we're just following up on this trade show.
If you're at the bar, turn your phones off and put them in your pocket. Just don't do it. So that's the kind of thing we're talking about here, right?
It is, right? Like, so I'm on prescription medications, but it's helping and it's supposed to last longer. But I honestly didn't know what I was going to get this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just didn't know what that was going to be like. And I'm okay.
So we did about 2 hours ago. We had that conversation whether it was go or no go. So good that it's a go.
Well, and
we have a good topic today.
We do have a really good topic today. Let's drop into our announcement. Let's come to the rundown. It's right here.
Okay.
I'm going to just first start with this guy. Let me put that up.
He just brought this up a second ago. Just remember that it's the first Friday, which is our standing Friday lunch. So as usual, 1 o'clock, Idaho Pizza Company across from Express Cafe on Fairview.
In Meridian. And we've got the Hammonds hosting.
Oh, yeah, in Idaho Falls.
Out in Idaho Falls.
Where are they at? They're on, what's that restaurant?
It's Cedric's, and it's on Broadway.
Yeah.
I suppose the Idaho Falls folks know where Cedric's is.
I think Cedric's is where that breakfast place. I could be wrong on that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm so stoked. Sherry Hammond reached out to me a couple weeks ago on our Facebook group, our members only group, where I had posted and asked for somebody out there, and she volunteered them to to host out there. So I just really appreciate the fact that we've got members in other parts of the state that are willing to bring people together and
Me too.
and just be part of
And she
the
posted,
social.
I know she posted it on.
Set your doorbell.
That was me walking out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Me walking out. I know she posted it on social media to her group page, so hopefully everybody got that.
Yeah.
And
I've had a couple of people ask me, including our former president and our current president, if we're having lunch today. Yes, this is a standing First Friday, unless you hear otherwise kind
Right.
of thing.
Right.
So Idaho Pizza here in Treasure Valley, Idaho Pizza on Fairview and Meridian.
and
1
it's
o'clock.
got something for everybody. If you just want a salad bar, they got that. You just
Sandwiches, pizza.
You just want pizza, they got that.
Yeah.
If you want both of them, they got that. So, and it's fairly easy on your pocketbook. I think it's what, $10 for a pizza.
Yeah, I
and-
think we probably spend, my wife and I, for the two of us, it's like $12.
Yeah,
for-
it's not much for salad, pizza, and drink.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty,
Yeah.
and you know,
Sometimes we
like
have-
it or not, you get to talk to us. So
Sometimes there's 5 people and sometimes there's 25 people.
yeah, you never know.
Which is, it's super cool. We usually see, oh gosh, we usually see
There's-
Sam and his crew, Mia, and
There's always at least a board member there. And if you want to quiz us on something or ask questions about what we're doing, this is a good place for it.
yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
That's a good
Yeah.
time to do that.
Yeah. I mean, it's not.
Well, you know what? Last month, Bob Quick brought to us some questions about the lifetime members.
Mm-hmm.
And we had some conversation about that, which was fruitful, I think, in the end.
Yep.
All right, so let's see. That's our first thing. You want to talk about the big elephant in the room here?
The big elephant.
I'm going to slide this across.
The
Here
big
it comes.
blue elephant. The Baker City, we're coming for you September 22, 23, 24. Not much else I can say. If you go out to the website, we have all the speaker bios out there. We have what they're going to talk about out there. We have registrations out there. Unfortunately, all y'all that haven't, I said all y'all. And
All
I'm
y'all.
Not, and I'm not South. Anyway, all of you that haven't registered yet, missed the early deadline. We were hoping that more of you would take advantage of that. But we know that everybody's a
It's
procrastinator.
still going to be a really good value.
Yeah, still good value.
We've got a lot of great programming. We've got some good instruction. We've got great model time. If you haven't been in downtown Baker City,
Yeah, it's
you're,
lovely.
You're really in for a treat.
Yeah. So, and we'll clarify one thing here. Actually, it shouldn't need to be clarified, but I'm just going to say it now. We didn't book. We understand about the community and getting everybody together. Here's where a lot of people think that that's falling apart, is that we are allowing you to choose your own accommodations.
Yeah, so you can spend $70 a night or $200 or $300
Exactly.
a night.
So one of the things that we're trying to be aware of now is cost for you guys. None of this stuff is cheap. So I'm just going to say that right
Well,
up
that's-
front.
I mean, that's-
And we have to have. If we're going to take or not take. If we have models, we have to have rooms for models. We have to feed them at least once, maybe twice. They don't work for free. So none of this stuff is cheap. And I get the fact that if we have a block of rooms that we're all together.
Except we don't spend a lot of time in our rooms.
Correct. So what we're trying to do on this is let everybody choose. That way, if you want to save $50, $60, you can.
Yeah, a night.
A night. Yeah.
So you want to
exactly.
save yourself $300?
Yeah.
Feel free to do so.
So I just wanted to clear that up because there were some questions I fielded, about, well, we need to be all together, and well, we are all together.
Well, so we've reserved the largest pavilion at Geisler Park.
Right.
And we've reserved a fantastic conference room at the county library adjacent to the park. There is plenty of together time there.
Right. And then as far as like eating and stuff goes, I don't think any of the restaurants around there could handle our crowd all at once. I just don't believe that's true.
Well, and we don't usually see that anyway. We see groups of people
Right.
going to different places. And,
right. So anyway, I just wanted to clarify that we didn't do the block of rooms because then that just
we just wanted to
helps
make
you
this
guys out. Yeah. So
our theme this year is keep it simple and social. So one of the things that we wanted to do was, in the vein of keeping it simple, is allow you to find your own accommodations that suit
your needs.
whether you want to come and participate, stay for cheap and spend all your time in classes and shooting. Great. Or maybe you're the kind that's looking, this is going to be kind of a mini vacation for you. You're going to do the Airbnb thing.
Yep.
You want to do some cooking, some couch time, and just hang out and read and come and visit the classes and do some occasional like you could be at either end of that spectrum with this, and this allows for that.
Yeah, but we do want you at the classes, because in the retreat program,
yeah.
Jeez.
There you go.
Yeah, in the retreat program, you will be shooting for a full-on ticket to our convention next March, April. So don't forget that. So it's going to be important that you go to all these classes, because not only is that going to be important for your, to learn something, although there'll be people out there that already know most of the stuff. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
And if you want to correct us, that's fine. Just remember, there's a million ways to do almost everything in photography, so just remember that.
Yeah, don't roll your eyes at me. I don't take kindly to that.
Roll your eyes at me, I don't care. But the thing is that there's more than one correct way to do a lot of this stuff.
That is very true.
But
very true.
You're going to have to use it to win the competition. So if you do the competition, well, you're going to do the competition because we have a whole half a day set aside. This is a fun exercise.
Mm-hmm.
It is not meant to be scary. If you just do exactly what we have outlined,
I think the notion of taking one frame really suits my personality. I want to build up a picture and know that I've got it right in my head and think everything through, and then make my capture. And I likened this, I should have brought it out here as a prop. I likened this to shooting with my Mamiya 645.
Absolutely.
You get 12, maybe 13 frames out of that roll.
Maybe.
You just don't shoot indiscriminately.
No.
You're making sure that your exposure is on. You're making sure your composition is on. You're making sure.
For those of you that go back to film, that's
what I'm talking about.
And go back to Ansel Adams and his zone system and all that stuff. This is exactly, if you. Photography's not it's
well,
a
we're
science.
in a shoot and pray world.
Yeah, it's a science, but it's not a rocket science. So we've been doing this stuff for a long time, and we are just going to show you the tools to help you when you go out into the real world and you are hit with an unexpected situation. And it's happened to me 1,000 times. Probably Bob too, 1,000 times. I mean, you think, oh, I'm going to take this picture here, then you go here. And either the light's not right.
And here it doesn't look all that
exactly.
slow.
The light's not right, or the you name it. There's shadows. It's dark. I can't see whatever. So
Laquita's chiming in here, and I'm gonna put that up here for just a second. This will really be a test for a newbie like her. Okay. But that will also help me learn, right? So that's the whole point.
Yeah, it's going to be a test for a newbie like me. I'm teaching.
That's awesome too.
Yeah, and so listen, guys, if you ever want to know a subject, I want to tell you this is something that a guy told me a long time ago, and I kind of passed it off, but it's very, very true. If you ever want to know a subject, teach it.
Teach it. You have to learn it, inside out and backwards.
Because I just got through saying that there's a million ways to do what we're doing. I'm going to teach you a way. Doesn't mean that there's other ways to do it.
And I would probably teach you a different way.
And I fully expect somebody in the audience to say, well, that's not how I do it.
Great.
That's awesome. But
I came from.
Yeah. That's awesome.
If you've ever changed jobs.
Yeah, but today you're going to do it this way. So
yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so if you're ready.
I'm ready.
I think our viewers are ready. Let's drop into our topic for the day. You ready for that?
Yep.
All right, so here that comes.
We're actually right on time.
We are right on time.
Yep.
So today's topic of conversation is decision time. And I'm excited for this episode.
Me too.
We did, I'm going to swing it back to us. We did a decision conversation almost a year ago now. We did an episode on decision making.
Go back and look it up.
And today's episode is totally different.
Yeah. It is.
Which is really neat. This is born from a lot of years in service to nonprofit organizations, and that's what we do. Right. Along with scores of other very talented people have served this organization, Professional Photographers of Idaho, and if you've been to Imaging USA as an affiliate leader, you've been in a room with hundreds of folks who are doing exactly what we're doing.
Right.
They're trying to figure out how to grow membership. They're trying to figure out how to engage with their members. They're trying to figure out how to add value to their membership. And those are all things.
We are not alone.
we're not alone. We're not that island, you know.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of us. And I was talking to, so I was at the trade show this week, a guy I haven't seen since probably, I photographed him maybe 4 years ago. He came up, gave me a big old hug. I'm like, man, where you been? He's like, well, I dropped off the radar for a little while. I had this and that go on, but I'm working from home out in Emmett, and I just don't really get into town much. And but he's a Rotarian. Do you remember the Rotary Hero image that I did a few years ago?
Yep.
It was Superman themed. He's Rotary Hero, right? And their organization deals with the same thing all of us.
I don't know of a single 501c3 that doesn't deal with what we're dealing with at this time.
Yeah.
I mean, and even I'm part of a very successful 501c3, and we still deal with it, even though it's not as severe.
And you still worry up to the day of the event that you're not going to fill the seats that you need to fill.
That's
right?
exactly
That's
right.
true, right?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
You said to me, you said to me the other day, 10 registered.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, it's like 3 weeks before. Right?
Yeah. We got time.
People will register like 2 days before, and it's just going to be
day of. They'll probably drive up and get.
Hey, is there room? Yeah, there's room.
Yeah.
Come on up, right?
Yeah.
All right. So then I want to bring our first question into the mix here, and the question. Go ahead.
Just real fast. So we're talking about decision making here, and and what we just ran through is a scenario of our decisions that we're making as we speak.
Oh my gosh.
Our board of what we do with all of those items that he just suggested. And then he also said, if you go to imaging, you're an affiliate leaders, and there's a group, their affiliate leaders group on Facebook. And I personally know quite a few of those guys, and every one of those chapters is dealing with these decisions.
Right.
And that's why I brought it up, is because these are all decisions that you can't ignore.
Well, you can. That would be a decision.
Well,
I choose not to deal with it. Right?
Yeah.
Indecision is a decision.
That's true.
Right?
Your indecision will probably cost you, though.
It does cost you. It will never not cost you. Indecision will never not cost you more money.
Yep.
So this.
And some of these decisions are going to make you uncomfortable. They're going to make people around you uncomfortable.
Oh, that's true.
So if you're going to make these decisions, and people are going to, i.e. the room block at Baker City, right?
That was
that was a decision that we made.
And some people are like, well, why isn't there a room block?
Yeah.
Well, because we chose not to do that.
Yeah, and there was a valid argument for it, but
sure,
there might be a valid argument against it too. We just haven't hit that yet.
Well, the simple argument is that we chose to let our members
decide what to do.
Opt for how much they want to spend.
Exactly. Yep.
And we made decisions with convention. We brought Lindsay Adler to Idaho.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
a big decision.
New York City to Idaho.
To Boise, right?
Yep.
But every day in our businesses, every day in our family lives, dude, what are you having for lunch? Well, I know what I'm having for lunch today. That's an easy one because it's First Friday
PPI
Lunch Social,
Friday,
right?
Friday, yeah.
But this decision thing isn't just about serving in an organization like PPI or serving in this affects, it's global. Like this affects every day of life. What time do you wake up in the morning? What time do you go to bed at night? What are you going to eat? Are you going to eat after dinner? Are you fasting?
What school are you going to send your kids to?
On the bus?
Gosh! Are you going to let them ride the bike? Or are you going to let them walk?
It's pouring rain. Am I going to let my kid ride the bike to school today? Yeah, I am.
I would like
because I did.
I would like to know. It'd be kind of a great study, right?
Yeah.
How many decisions does the average American make every single day?
All right. Somebody get your Google food going and give us some feedback on that.
Give us a number.
How many decisions a day does the average human make?
Yeah.
So I want to start this conversation off with a question.
Yep.
All right, and drive into this. So here we go. First question is, do you have a process or system for making decisions?
Yes. Do you?
That's the question.
So
do you have a process or system in place?
And I really think that everybody has this, but it's in the subconscious a lot of times. So you have a process.
35,000
decisions a day.
Laquita says 35,000.
See there, You're already making 35,000. You
that
can make
is
one
so
more
worthy.
decision today, and that's to go to fall retreat. So there you go.
That is so worthy. It's coming across the screen. 35,000 decisions a day.
Yeah. So if you do,
That just makes my head hurt.
that's my job. Now I gotta go take a nap.
Oh
Dang it.
my gosh, I'm tired just thinking about it.
So most of you have processes on this, whether it be experience, like I don't want to make that decision because I've done that before. Been there, done
That hurt.
Yeah. Or
That hurt.
I can't.
But I'm going to do it again because it was fun.
And you know, yeah.
Welcome to
That's a horrible idea. What time?
what time? I love that show.
Whether you have, maybe you don't have the finances. Well, that's a decision, right? You're automatically thinking about your bank account, like, boy, that's a decision I got to make. Car. Do I make the 2,000-mile trip on bald tires?
Ooh, no, is Bob's accident reconstruction based answer to that.
Well, yeah, but those are all things that you play into every single day. 35,000 times apparently. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
So we want to bring some definition to that
Right.
a little bit, and I've got another question coming up behind this one. So let me put that up, at least as a teaser for us. So let's build into that process thing for just a minute before we go to the next slide, if that's okay. I'm just going to grab the other cameras for a second here and maybe do that.
Okay.
I have a process for decision making, and it is subliminal. It is in the back of my mind. I don't always think about my decision making process or how I'm going to go about doing it, but I definitely can recognize patterns on how I go about doing that.
Sure, absolutely.
So for some of our larger decisions, and certainly for some of our business decisions that we make, we get out a pad of paper and we do a pros and cons column. We do a pros column and a cons column, and we just list it all out. And I have a saying that I love to put on the table, is that nothing is out of bounds for the list.
Right.
Okay, so you have a decision to make. Am I going to advertise the business tomorrow, or am I going to close the business tomorrow?
Yeah.
There's nothing off the table in the decision-making process. It all must be considered. This is a lot like, I'd love to have Craig in here for a minute, because he's a fraud investigator, and during the course of an investigation, everything's on the table.
Yeah.
Everything has to be on the table. Everyone's a suspect, right?
Right.
Or everything's a factor. Was weather a factor? You mentioned bald tires.
Yeah.
I'm going to make that really real for a minute, okay? I investigated a solo fatal crash. It was a DUI driver. It was a young woman in her early 20s. She had bald tires down to the steel.
Oh, that's really bald.
Right.
Yeah.
Like worn through to the steel tread, or steel, what is that?
Cords.
Yep. She'd been at a tire shop earlier that day and couldn't afford the tires. And the tire shop put her bad tires back on and sent her on her way. And then she made the choice to drink or not drink. But I was an accident reconstructionist at the time, and I reconstructed the crash with the coefficient of friction in the formula. Coefficient of friction is how much resistance is on the roadway, okay? I ran that calculation through my physics modeling program with the bald tire and with treaded tire.
Mm-hmm.
And the difference was missing the pole or hitting the pole. They killed her.
Yep. And that's a sad story.
It's a horrible story, but it's reality.
So,
right?
A lot of, we're talking about 35,000 decisions a day, and that was probably about a dozen that I counted in my head as he was going through that scenario. That young lady, and she's young at 20 some odd years old.
It was really young. It was early 20s.
Yeah, that made. Now, and you said that the tire shop put her tires back on and sent her on her way, but they don't make that call, right? That was her call. I can't afford the tires, sir. Well, okay, I guess we'll put these back on, because there's no law for them
Yeah.
that they have to, know you
Well,
can't.
what are
drive
they gonna
the-
do? It's
her
her car, but, like-
so there's all kinds of decisions right there that were not so hot. Right?
So not every decision is that life and death,
Right.
right? But I'm sure that nobody in their mind that day thought
No, I'm sure
that decision.
if you're writing down stuff on a pad of paper, I don't think that at the end of the day you're going to go, I'm going to go out and drink on bald tires. I mean, that's not at the bottom of the list, right? And we're talking about lists and writing stuff down. And,
So
and
I'm a list guy.
And so
I'm a process guy.
nothing's off the table. And I want to tell you this: our board of directors. We keep talking about this, but it's important for you guys to know how we kind of work. Our board of directors did exactly the same thing. So why do we go to a fall retreat? This is the reason why we go to a fall retreat, or not a fall retreat, our spring
board retreat.
Our board retreat. So why do we go? Well, this is the reason why. We have decisions to make, and if you guys could see pictures from behind the scenes, like this last time, we had, those post-it.
I have them. I
Yeah,
kept them.
We don't want to show them, but what
No.
I'm saying is, we had those things stuck all over the house. We
Poster-sized Post-its.
with lists on them.
All over
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
It was a house, condo.
Yeah. So that was our process, right?
Yeah.
And we're still,
And
throughout
nothing's off the table. Everything's on the table.
and throughout the year, we refine that process and we start working on the resulting
Yeah.
list. So the other one is what's the other? No. That's a process. The other process is when you wake up in the morning, am I going to have oatmeal or eggs? You don't go and write that on the list.
Nope.
You just go, you know what? I had oatmeal yesterday. I think I'm going to have eggs today. That's it.
Yep.
That's one of your 35,000 decisions for the day. That's not.
Check.
Yeah. So what we're talking about here is like business decisions, though, mainly, where
Yeah.
you, like Bob said, are we open today or are we closing today? Or I think it was advertising or closing. Is that happening today? And there's a lot of decisions that you can make. For example,
we were making decisions all morning long.
Sure.
On
And
whether we're going to sit at this table today and talk to that camera.
exactly right. I'm making a decision right now.
You're going to blow off your afternoon obligation, come have lunch?
That's already gone. My afternoon obligation is I'm going.
Yeah.
But I'm making an internal decision right now on my next camera platform. So,
Are you really?
Yeah. And I haven't decided yet. And I'm going to toss it around some more. I'm not in a hurry. I got a perfectly good camera. It takes
My ears are twitching, Alec. We haven't had this conversation.
Yeah.
You're laying this out in front of them.
I know.
Before you've even shared it with me.
True. I have a perfectly good camera. I got perfectly good lenses. I've got all this stuff. I don't need to go out and buy a camera. I just don't. Do I want to? Absolutely. But the decision.
But there's got to be a decision.
Well, the decision there is.
Yeah.
Now, am I going to lay out $10,000, or am I?
You are if you're going to change platforms.
Yeah. Or am I going to lay out $15,000? That's pretty much the decision. So,
You're going to lay out $10,000 to start with, and then sneak up on 15 and 20.
Go the other 5. Yeah. So there's all kinds of decision, and we were talking the last time we met. We were talking about decisions. You're out, and somebody approaches you for something that you don't normally do. Right.
Right.
That's a decision.
Yep.
And as a matter of fact, I just told Bob earlier before camera rolled about going to some B2B events.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I'm not a headshot guy, and I'm not aiming to be a headshot guy, period. I just am not. That's not my reason to go. But he's heavily involved in B2B because that's what he does.
Yeah.
I'd like to be involved for another reason, and
so I'm going to share a great story with you. Business Builder Day is an expo that's held every year at the Galaxy Event Center by IBL Events. They do a phenomenal job with this thing, and they've packed the house. They had keynote speakers and lecturers all day long. It was like 8 or 9 hours of networking, and probably 100 vendors. What was amazing was how many of those vendors in that room are my clients.
Yeah.
And I would have people that I don't know coming up to my table, and and we'd be having a conversation, and I would point and say, well, that company there, that's my work. And oh, by the way, those two huge posters at the front of the room during the keynote for the sponsor of the keynote, that's my work too. It was very cool. But I had a lady come up to me and she says, "Do you photograph product?" I said, "Sure. I do photograph product. I've got a project sitting right there on that table.
Waiting for my table.
Waiting for your product table to come in. That would be handy." That's what you were going to bring.
Actually, it's
something else. Okay.
No, it's something else.
All right. But I got talking to this gal. I said, "Well, first of all, tell me about your product." And she has light therapy products, and some are worn. One's a belt, one's made for the leg or the knees, joints, those kinds of things. This goes from product photography to product photography on models.
Right.
Okay. This goes from product photography on models to in an environment that's appropriate for these therapies, like maybe a bedroom or a couch.
So
or
it would be almost a fashion shoot, because you're not shooting. When you shoot fashion, you don't shoot the model. You shoot what they're wearing.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't do this, but I have a colleague in the industry who's freaking fantastic at this. And he runs a photo house over in Bend, Oregon called Results Imagery, and they're getting a referral because he does exactly what she needs. They'll take a model into an environment that's been designed for this product to be demonstrated, and they will shoot that model and product in this environment in a variety of ways, and that's what she needs. It doesn't suit what I do. So the decision that I made was, I'm going to pass this client to somebody else, and I'm going to do it in a way that she's like, wow, amazing.
Yep.
That's amazing service. It's amazing to me that you would decline this. I told her, I said, look, I can do that, but he's going to do it better.
And he can do it. The other guy's going to do it better, and he's set up for it. So it would be an investment in Bob's time, energy, and money.
It would be a distraction to what I focus on for me to do that.
Anyway, a lot of decisions made as an entrepreneur, right? And we were going to talk about...
I'm going to come back to our previous slide here. About the process. We're going to talk about the process for just a minute, right?
Yep.
So, do you have a process or system for decision making? I talked about how I'm going to put us in the corner here, okay? I talked about how I like to write things down. Writing things down helps bring me clarity and focus. We have a huge whiteboard in our office upstairs that we will do this kind of brain dump on a couple of times a year and figure out what are we missing.
Yeah. What are we doing right? What are we doing wrong?
Yeah.
What's missing? Yeah.
What could I be doing better?
Yeah.
What can we dump? You know? So that's all. That's our system. Our system is, and I say my wife and I, we have 2 or 3 people that work with us on most larger scale events. And for those types of events, they're part of that decision-making process. My client is often part of my decision-making process. We did a job last week with a trio of lady founders of a company called Legacy Navigation. I think they're out of Eagle. They were here in my studio with their marketing guy who served as the art director during our photo shoot. He was locked on my laptop watching the shoot happen, and he would say something like, she's got a pucker. One lady, when she brought her hands up to her hips, her shirt would pucker. And I couldn't see that happening because I'm coaching and talking.
So you know, he's talking about a marketing person, and I've had that also with a marketing director. And for those of you that shoot models, you should have your assistant, if you have one, which hopefully you do.
Somebody to handle your models.
Yeah, take a look for that. If you shoot weddings, you have an assistant there. You have a director for the wedding. They should be on your heels most of the time, or knees or whatever. And so, yeah, I mean, there's a lot to the decision making. And like Bob said, I know for a fact, I used to shoot. How I got into photography was landscapes years and years ago, and I'd come home with my roll of film.
Was that during like the glacial period?
That was woolly mammoth era. You know the squirrel with the acorn from the Pixar movie?
Yeah.
That was me.
That was
No, I can't tell you how many times I've come home and thinking, oh, God, I nailed the crap out of this, right? I got it, bagged it.
I bagged it.
Had a roll of 24, and I sent it off, and get my slides back. I'm like, what is that beer can doing right in the middle of, right? Am I right?
Because there wasn't somebody else there to help you watch for the beer
Guess
can,
what?
right?
We didn't have content aware in those days.
Yeah, right.
So you couldn't just 86 it out of there. So anyway, interesting stuff. So a lot of you have processes and systems. A lot of it's in your head. A lot of it you write down. Again, experience is a huge one, because I know not to shoot stuff now that before I was, oh yeah, I can do that, right?
Right.
And just like Bob, I'm not going to shoot that because can I do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Am I going to do this one? No. I might expand out into that later, but not right now.
One of the things that happens, I'm just going to say this, and this maybe is a little bit of a departure, but it really weighs very heavily into this. Oftentimes, when we're confronted with a question that we didn't anticipate, we rush to answer.
Yeah.
And sometimes, if you just say, tell me more about that, it buys you time to process the question that's been asked, and you're getting information while that's happening.
And maybe you don't even really know what it entails, right? So the guy comes up and says something like about this product, or a gal.
Yep.
And you have, I've never done that. I might be able to do that. And especially if you need some cash.
And who doesn't? Come on.
For you to say, yeah, I can do that, would be a mistake right then. For you to say, I need to check with some resources, I will get right back to you.
Yeah.
And then as they walk away, you could send them an email on your phone, because we all do that, and say, thanks for stopping by. I will check these resources. I'll have an answer for you by whatever, tomorrow at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
So that they know that you're not going to forget to do that. In the meantime, you can go home, get on Google, or whatever you have to do to figure out what he's talking about, and go, oh, yeah, no, I can't do that.
This product photography job, I'll lay it out here. So a vets organization brought an electrician in to help me with electrical work in my studio while I was in a wheelchair. And they did that work pro bono. And I reached out to the owner of that company and I said, hey, I'm beyond grateful. You're providing something to me that really, really helps me. And I'd like to be able to reciprocate in the way that I can. And the way that I can is by providing your business with headshots if you can use them. And I didn't hear back for a couple of weeks. I'm like, cool, he's busy. I've made the offer.
Right.
When he did contact me back, he said, hey, look, I don't really need the headshots, but I've got this side hustle thing. And I'm like, side hustle? I didn't hear about your side hustle. Like, my ears are twitching, right? My antenna. So I go into the decision-making process with him. And I'm asking, well, tell me about your side hustle. Like, what is it? Well, I do Starlink accessories. In fact, I'm the original accessories provider for Starlink. He goes, I was an early adopter of Starlink, and when it came to mounting accessories were really cruddy. So I developed my own line of mounting accessories, and now there's a whole bunch of people that do it. He goes, but I'm the first. And so I'm going to photograph his Starlink accessories.
Awesome.
And it's cool, and that's totally my wheelhouse. It's going to happen right here in my studio. It doesn't require a lot of external resources for me, and doesn't distract from what I'm going to do. It's a project that I can do on my downtime when I don't have 4 people coming on Monday on Labor Day for headshots.
When he has my product table.
I'd like your product table. If not, I'm going to do a seamless white over a folding table. And
I
works
got it.
All right, so we've had this conversation for a little bit about do you have a decision-making process? So hopefully you've thought about that a little bit, because there's another question right behind this one, and that question is this. It's coming over right across. Here you go.
How many have you done this one?
Well, this is really important. So how do you change course if the decision that you made doesn't work out?
Yeah, and there's a couple of things. First of all, if you tell somebody, yeah, I'll have it for you, you can deliver what you got. if you want to. That may not be your best course. Because if you deliver crap, and then, for example, if Bob was taking these product photos, now I know he's going to do a good job. Don't get me wrong.
You don't know I am.
Well,
I'm going to try.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know he's going to do a good job. I assume he's going to do a good job. I know Bob, and I know he won't let the images leave his studio if they're not up to par.
Yeah.
So, there's a couple ways you could go about it. So he's got not really an open-ended timeline on this, but kind of. So he gets in here and shoots them, and he just can't get them right. But he's already promised this guy that I'm going to shoot these for you. Now, he can go out to his friend in Bend, or he can go out to anybody else and say, I need help, okay? And I need to get these like yesterday because I'm already behind. Or you can deliver what you got knowing that it's not your best work, which I wouldn't recommend that to anybody because that's really not. Or you can fess up and say, look, I thought,
This was really out of my league.
Is out of my league. And the business owner, if they're any type of a person at all, will appreciate that and say, you know what? And you can say to them, hey, look, I can show you what I did, but I don't think you're going to be happy with it.
So I've got to tell them why I'm smiling.
Okay.
Why I'm
because
grinning.
you did it before.
Well, no. So I previewed you the slides when you sat down.
Yeah.
And these are the questions we're going to ask, and I said, I have a way that I handle this very thing. How do you change course, right? If the decision you made isn't working. And I said, I have my way. And you said, I have my way too.
Yeah.
And we didn't talk about what that was.
No, we didn't.
My way of changing course is to just admit that I screwed it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
'Cause
so that didn't work. Let me try something else.
Yeah. Yeah. And no amount of massaging your images are going to fix it.
I'm super frank about it. Like,
Yeah.
okay, so I communicated to our board this morning. If you followed Slack.
I didn't have it open this morning.
Okay.
Did you Slack us?
There was a Slack conversation going. A, is there a luncheon today? Of course there's a luncheon today. It's First Friday. Yes, we're doing that. And no, I didn't post about it. Are we doing a live today? Yes. Yes, we're doing a live today. We talked about it last week, so it's been talked about. And we were really hopeful there was going to be a live today.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it worked out fine, right?
There probably would have been, somehow.
Yeah, so I'm normally weeks ahead on this stuff, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I'm normally weeks ahead.
Usually a month out.
I'm usually a month to 6 weeks out on the lives, on the topics, on getting them prepped and ready, graphics done, and I am working on the week that we're doing it right now. And that's just where I'm at. It's kind of like just keeping your head above water with this task because my business has gotten very, very busy and I'm still coping with my spine trouble. So my bandwidth has shrunk.
Right.
So
And
I said to the board, actually, I did say to the board, this is on Bob. Okay? It's my fault that this didn't get advertised this week.
I do that all the time.
I
always say, look, I screwed up. I missed this.
And my answer was, okay, so my decisions this week where I didn't work on this, I was exhausted or I was busy or whatever reason, I didn't do it. Mm-hmm. I own it.
Yeah.
It's mine.
Yep.
And I'll tell you what, in the commercial world, if you own your screw ups, you're nothing but respect.
Yeah.
Because
I'll tell you a screw up that I did.
I want to hear it. Because I've been the one laying it all out this morning.
I don't know if so, in the IT world, there are databases out there. And you always have to think about redundancy backups, where your databases are, what spindles are on, how many spindles you have, yada, yada. So we have storage devices that are sometimes split up into, well, sometimes they can be split up in like 20 ways, but this particular one happened to be split up in 2, and half of it was misbehaving. I did not know that the device that the spindles were on is one appliance. I did not know that the backups were also
on the same appliance?
Yeah.
Oh!
So because it was misbehaving, I wiped it because that's what I do. I had to make a call to a vice president and say to him, you're not going to like this, but the site's coming down in about 30 seconds, because I could see it disappearing from my screen. I was totally prepared to just pack up my shit in a box and I'm done.
Time for a new job.
But I called him first. Yep. I didn't call my boss. I called the VP of the division whose thing was going down and told him. I didn't call my boss. I said, I want you to hear it from me, not anybody else. It's not hearsay. I'm not making any excuses. I said, here's exactly what happened and the reason why I wiped it, all the stuff. And he just listened. Took about 20 minutes to explain all that. And he goes, so what's the mitigation? I said, well, hopefully our DBA has a snapshot, a recent one, somewhere else, so we can get this back up and going. I said, this appliance will be back up in no time. I can do that. That's not a deal. It was just misbehaving. It was having some input-output issues, time to update firmware, yada, yada. Anyway, I wiped out the thing because I thought we had a fail-safe business. Turns out we didn't. Nothing but respect.
It's because you own the problem. You own the mistake.
Yeah, and I kept my job.
That has to be part of your decision-making process. Yeah. So, coming right back to this, how do you change course if the decision you've made isn't working?
Yeah, just tell people it.
Just own it.
Didn't work. Yeah.
Own it.
Yeah.
And
I swear to God, we did not talk about this earlier. So, yeah. It was amazing.
That's why I was gritting. You were talking, and I'm like, he's saying the same thing that I'm going to say, and it's worthwhile. But I'll tell you, this all comes down, and this is a great time to be bringing into this next slide. And I'm gonna slide it up without putting us in the middle here, because all of this boils down to this next slide. You don't need permission to fail. If you don't need permission to fail, you don't need permission for the decision.
Right. Or to change course.
Or to change the course after you've made the decision.
Yeah. So a lot of truth to that. You know, entrepreneurs are basically free to move about the cabin, as I call it.
Oh, this is a big deal. We're going to talk about this for a minute too.
Because you guys make decisions every single day about you, your product, the quality of your product, your timing, your pricing, you name it. 35,000 of them a day. And if you were in, I work for a stock control company, and if you work for a stock control company, you work for a company that's controlled by shareholders. By shareholders, yeah.
Okay. So which is not just the shareholders, but then the government's involved in regulation of that too.
Correct. So you guys all have heard about SOX compliance, right? I'm sure you have.
I'm sure a lot of people haven't.
Well, SOX compliance is basically security compliance with. I can't go into it because I can look it up. It's SOX compliance. You can't I don't care how you spell it. You'll get the whole business on it. There's reams and reams.
It's security standards.
Yeah, but there's volumes of information out there. So our security standards state you will do it this way, or you will have this in place. Not that you will do it this way, but you'll have this in place. How we do it, how we put that in place is up to us, but that has to be reviewed and okayed by InfoSec, if information security, by InfoSec, if that's okay to do it that way, because they have information about somebody else did it that way. Remember the experience thing I just talked about?
Right.
They have,
or the more than one way to do something.
Exactly, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So as an entrepreneur, you are free. I call it free to move about the cabin. It is the best feeling. But if you make a mistake,
you own it.
You own it.
Yeah, you can't.
So you can't sugarcoat it.
You really can't, and you really shouldn't. So I love what you just shared about who you work for and how that's controlled, because one of the things that makes small business so attractive to veterans and like retired cops and retired firefighters is they're used to leadership roles. Mm-hmm. They're used to making decisions and having some command authority. And in your own business, I know so many folks that come from the background that I come from across the board, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, like I said, firefighters, law enforcement.
Structured organizations.
Organizations where decisions are impactful and
Right.
in small business, you're lithe, you're flexible, you have the ability to pivot on a dime.
Yeah, oh yeah.
If what you're doing isn't working. The problem is a lot of us resist change.
Oh.
Right? So that
That's
maybe that's another whole episode.
Yep.
Right? Are you that person that resists change like that? Because if you are, maybe that's inhibiting your ability to make those decisions and just move on the fly. Now, I made a decision 5 years ago. I can't exactly remember the timing, to do a deep dive into a specialty. We had been to previous years, we had been to WPPI out in Las Vegas. I've talked about this a couple of times over the last few years. And all of the classes, every single one of the classes we took, the person teaching the class said, you really need to specialize. You need to be really good at something. And if you were to finish that phrase, that if you're not known for something, you're known for nothing. I talk a lot about specialty. I talk a lot about my specialty because I'm passionately in love with what I do. And
I will tell you this, if you go out and you're on the web or you see anything about Bob Ryder photography, it's all about headshots. That's it. And literally, and good on you. I mean, literally, it's not, oh, hey, here's my seniors page over here, and here's my wedding page over here, and oh, here's my family page up here.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, I really do headshots.
So I'm going to share a small story.
Not that you can't do that, but his specialty is
so
headshots.
When I'm in public and I talk to my audience, I talk specifically about the thing that I do. In fact, now my conversation has evolved into how I'm solving their problem. That's a whole nother episode.
Yeah.
Is we provide...
This is how we get a month ahead.
It really is, right? And I laid in bed last night telling Siri, I can't say this.
Yeah.
I tell my phone to make a note so that I can go back and revisit things. And I did that like 5 times as I was going to bed last night, making notes that I need to do, things that I want to include today. And one of the things, I'm going to spill it right here. We haven't even talked about it yet. I'll just talk about it here for just a minute.
It's going to be a short minute.
It's got to be a short minute because we've got to go, right?
Yeah.
All right. I think it would be really fan-damn-tastic if we included other affiliate leaders into our programming.
If we could do that, so we're talking about the group, the affiliate group, and they're having the same problems, right? That we're having, yada yada. I think it'd be fantastic too. Here's the issue: is trying to get a hold of them.
I've got a solid half dozen I could start with.
Oh no, not getting a hold of them is not a problem. You know, we do this Friday. I can't do that Friday. I'm moving on. Yeah. I'm going to somebody else because I don't have time for that. But I think that'd be fantastic. Yeah. We get and maybe some of you guys, if we did that for the members, those of you who are watching us, maybe it might clarify a little bit about what we do in our own organization too. So yeah.
So at Imaging this year, back in January,
coming up, not back, coming up. Or
no,
was that last week?
At Imaging this year in January.
Okay.
They cornered me at the affiliate leadership conference in the afternoon. They cornered me, and then like, how have you grown your membership through the pandemic? Okay, because we've grown the membership through the pandemic, which is brilliant, and that's you folks, right?
Yeah.
That's you
Not
folks.
us.
That's your participating in your organization.
Yep.
And how has your organization grown when a lot of them are like, right? They're sinking, and then they're like, and so how did you do these live things? Like, so part of our audience is other affiliates and other affiliate leaders, and they're figuring out that if you're communicating to your audience, it's a two-way street, right?
So we did some stuff at a business the other day for fall retreat, and we were in there, and I was explaining, kind of what we do and how we got here and all that kind of stuff. And as I regurgitated all the stuff we'd done through the pandemic and through the next pandemic, pre-pandemic, pandemic, next pandemic to here today,
They're like, what pandemic?
Yeah. Well, it was like amazing the stuff we've accomplished, and we still think we're beating our heads against the wall. Literally, we think, oh, we're just not doing enough. But it's amazing what has happened in the last 2.5 years, and I know you guys.
Well, I'm going to shout out to Jen Alvey because she led this organization through that period of time.
Absolutely.
With a really open mind and.
And you talk about no walls or no restrictions. Everything was open.
Everything's on the table.
Yeah, and we did it. We like, well, we can put a camera here and we can record that. And I think you and Sam had
this was Sam's brainchild.
Yeah.
What we're doing today, this was Sam's brainchild.
Right.
We've been doing this since pre-pandemic, 2019. We started this before the pandemic came to the U.S. Before there was even a talk of a pandemic.
It's just been refined, is all.
Yep.
And we try and share these seats with as many people as we can because it's not our show.
I loved having the What's in My Bag series. We had
cool.
Brenda Leap here last week. Have you had a chance to watch that episode?
I did. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It was the stuff we do. We try and do well, but we'll go back to the affiliates. I would love to have them on. That would be awesome. I'd love to lead a couple of those myself because.
Which is great because I could sit off in the corner and do this.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic.
So anyway, I think that'd be fun.
So
I honestly think that you guys would then see that it's not just us. I mean,
we're not alone out here. We're not an island in Idaho. There's a lot of states affiliates that have folded over the last 5 to 10 years, and. Anyway, I just think this would be really neat. I've got a buddy in Chicago who's the president of the Northern Illinois PPI group there, and I think that we could get John on the show.
I've got one in North Carolina that can come on.
I think that'd be fabulous.
Michigan that can come on.
So we got to work on the tech on that because I don't want to do it with Zoom. So there's some things I need to work out there. But, all right.
We don't want to do Zoom. No. Okay.
I'm going to slow the bus here for a minute.
Good.
I want to talk about next week.
Yeah.
Where we're not going to be in a bus next week.
No.
We're going to be in the Ferrari next week.
We will be in a Ferrari.
I'm going to bring this across.
Yep.
You talk about
All
it.
right.
Here it comes.
AI stole the show. So
dude, you sent me that article this week, and I was mind blown.
Yeah, it's. We've talked about AI. You've heard us talk about AI before last year, as a matter of fact, and kind of get ready because here it comes, and everybody's like, yeah, okay, I'll get ready whenever. Well, guess what?
AI is creating its own art now.
Yeah, it's creating its own, and it's creating problems already. So there was
problems. Yes, it's creating problems.
It's creating issues with the standard.
Because there's a lack of vision.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
That's my take on it.
Yeah,
right?
that's exactly right. So
you want to hate it.
Right. Well,
you want to hate it.
So just think about this: when the first digital camera came out, who liked it? No one, right?
That'll never work.
When the first cell camera came out that was worth a crap, who liked it?
Nobody.
No one. Now look what they're doing. They're putting 3 lenses on the back.
You asked me.
Yeah.
No. What camera do you carry in your pocket? I carry this particular phone because I wanted this particular camera in my pocket.
Right. Yeah. It's a no-brainer anymore.
It is.
How many people do you? Well. As evidenced by TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and all the things, everybody's doing this, right? And they're videoing, they're doing this crap, right? So what's the best camera that you have? The one that you're carrying at the time. We have been through that.
Yeah.
And now there's some stuff coming up that is really going to intrude on the photography.
On our maker space, yeah. So we're talking artificial intelligence. If you don't know what AI is, it's artificial intelligence.
They do it that way.
And we've been using artificial intelligence. You said this to me. Yeah. If you're using the healing brush with Content Aware in Photoshop, which you are, if you're retouching skin, you're using AI. All right?
You were using AI without it being artificial back in the days when you were dodging and burning something coming out of a projector on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
So it's not new.
Laquita's got something to say. She says, it's kind of cool, but it may devalue creative's work.
Or it could enhance it.
Or it can enhance it.
Yep.
Let's... okay, so...
Yeah, we got all...
This is next week's episode. We're going to talk about how AI stole the show, and we're going to break it down and unpack it and take a look at some of the way that AI is really helping us.
I'll try to have some examples. So I have an account with.
It's the new Mind Your thing.
Yeah,
right?
And I've got a few. So they give you an account and they say you can do like, I forget how many things you create. And I'm not to the thing.
We're running out of time, man.
I know. So I'll bring some.
All right. So next week, how AI stole the show, and it's based on an article that he sent me. But it's going to be a really great opportunity for us to talk about how AI is really coming into our industry. And liquidity, like you said, it may impact creatives, but they said that about Photoshop. They said that about the iPhone, the next generation iPhone. Every generation of the iPhone for the last 6 generations has said this is going to take jobs from photographers. And I call bullshit.
Well, and look at the old masters that said the first digital camera, well, that's not fair. You can see what you shot, so you can just shoot it again. Well,
right.
Duh.
Well, duh.
And so, so they all are, right? Anyway,
I've got one more thing for you to talk. I'm sitting here with my mouth open while you're talking. One more thing. This is you, brother. I want you to just hammer that. Bring it home.
PPIidaho.com. Join us if you can. Listen, we're a fair-minded group. We're also a photography group. And if you want to be joined by like-minded individuals, you need to join us yearly, $99 a year or $9.99 a month. But we do ask for a 12-month commitment. PPIidaho.com. Hit the Join Us button, and it'll lead you right to the page.
And you know what? I'm going to come back to us.
Okay.
We're going to say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you at lunch in an hour.
Yes, lunch at 1, Idaho Pizza Company, Fairview, Meridian.
And they're already having lunch out in Idaho Falls.
Yeah. Hey,
We're
Idaho
having
Falls.
lunch without.
Hey, do you have us on screen, Idaho Falls? Come on.
Maybe they got us on the big screen. Maybe they don't.
Maybe I think they do.
Maybe somebody has it on their phone.
Yeah.
Anyway, we love you guys. We're super grateful to have you on board with us.
Yep.
And I know if you're going to watch this in a replay,
HD 4K.
It's not 4K. It's 1080p, and it's good. Anyway, we love you guys. We'll see you next week for AI Stole the Show. And in an hour, we'll meet you at Idaho Pizza if you're here in Meridian.
Have a good day.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.